Thanks to listening. Munson at the movies.
He's got one foot in the frying pan and one in the pressure cooker. Believe me, as a bowler, I know that right about now, your bladder feels like an overstuffed vacuum cleaner bag, and your butt is kind of like an about-to-explode bratwurst.
Hey, do you mind? I wasn't talking when you were bowling.
Was I talking out loud?
Welcome to Munsons at the Movies. My name is Kyle. I'll once again be your host. Join me, the rest of the Munsons want to give them a wide berth.
Is what is called a born loser. A real Munson.
And talk a little bit about what's going on in their worlds. This time we'll start with Aubrey.
Jurassic World Rebirth is great. It's more Jurassic Park 3 than it is Jurassic Park. So if you're one of the great people in this world that loves Jurassic Park 3, then you'll like Jurassic World Rebirth. Elio is fine. It's like mid-tier Pixar. Solid movie. My son has seen it twice. He loves it. F1 is dope. It's like the greatest theater experience of the year. Absolutely love that movie. Seen it twice. I will see it for the third time tomorrow, and I can't wait. Squid Game Season 3 is, how will my kids call it? Cheeks. It's not good. I do not enjoy it. I'm not liking it at all. I have like half of the last episode left, and I don't even want to watch it. Ironheart is amazing. You should watch Ironheart. That show is so good that it's going to get me back writing.
Ooh.
Like, I want to write about it. I want to write about the reception of it, the review bombing, all of that kind of stuff. It's not being received very well by the general public because it got killed early on for reasons that we can assume, but I won't say out loud. People don't like black people. Anthony Ramos is really, really good. The woman who plays Riri, I don't know her name. I apologize for that. She's amazing. The show's awesome. Watch that.
Sacha Baron Cohen is a perfect hire for the role he plays in that show.
He was so good.
James.
Like any proud American, I celebrated the 4th of July by going to Mexico with my family. So just got back from that. It took little Lorraine Toussaint Jr. down on her first international flight. She did all right. I think she kind of melted down when most of the adults melted down and you kind of sit on the tarmac for a little while. But
That sounds lovely.
Ace, toss it to you.
I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite Chris's tonight, and I'm also excited for our guest. I always look forward to the episodes when this particular guest is here.
Chip is a feature. It's like a feature film. You're like, ooh, I get excited.
Yep.
It's like going to the movies.
That's right.
On my side, I'm excited to see the comparison of all the Chris's we've covered over the years. We had Tucker, Hemsworth, O'Dowd,
Chris Pratt.
There's a Chris showdown that's to be had here that pop culture is having with Chris Pine. So I'm interested to see where he lines up. In fact, I'm going to look at the data here in a second and kind of see where the rest of the Chris's land. That's what I'm excited for. Without further ado, Case kind of teed it up. We're glad to have Chip Hessenflow, previously of Too Much Scrolling, back with us. Former co-host of that show, long run, kind of spawned us, which is a really cool, it's like an interconnected podcast universe. He owns a financial planning practice in the Chicago area. He works with all sort of people who are much more interesting than he is. I don't know about that. He enjoys his career, which lends him time to think and sometimes be creative. Chip was born bald. Chip previously joined us for the James Marsden, Emma Thompson, Matthew Broderick, Andy McDowell, Steve Carell, and Juno Temple episodes. So I believe this is number 8. Welcome back, Chip.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Yeah, buddy.
I feel like the Saturday Night Live host. Get together, we have multiple appearances. We all just give each other high fives and just tell each other how lucky we are. So thank you so much.
You're well on your way to Alec Baldwin status at this point, so you're cruising.
Steve and I still get together. We still have a lot of fun, but we decided that recording was not where we were going to go. We had a 10-year run, which was very exciting for us.
That's very cool. So that's an accomplishment, man.
I guess then it's good that we get to pull you back into the podcasting space to spend some time with us, even once a year.
Absolutely. It's awesome.
Let's talk some Chris Pine. But before we get into Chris Pine, we always start with a little actor birthday action. So this episode's dropping on July 17th. We have 3 actors that we threw in here. First and foremost, we're going to try to guess the age of David Hasselhoff, known for things mostly Baywatch, but Knight Rider, Young and the Restless, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Dodgeball, The New Guy, and Sharknado 4: The Fourth Awakens. How old is David Hasselhoff?
Kyle, you missed a credit in there. He was on the Dirk Nowitzki pregame playlist, just to get that in there.
That's a lesson in itself.
Is that a real fact, or is that just Because they're both German.
It's a real fact.
He sang the song for Kung Fury too. I mean, who can forget that?
68.
It's forever old.
I'm going to say 75.
78.
Boy, that's a good guess.
Because I want to say 90.
Unfortunately, forever old is not an appropriate answer.
Baywatch come out in the early 2020s, so that makes him like 42.
This guy. I think you're mixing up him and Zac Efron, unfortunately.
Oh.
His birthday's not today. James is going to win that because the Hoff is turning 73.
Nice.
Oh.
I know my Baywatch.
Price is Right rules, Chip.
All right, next up we have Jason Clarke, known for projects like Zero Dark 30, Mudbound, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Terminator Genesis, Oppenheimer, Pet Sematary, the new one, Serenity, the bad one, First Man, Chappaquiddick, Everest, Great Gatsby, Lawless, and The Texas Killing Fields. How old is Jason Clarke? He's been in a lot of good movies over the years.
Yeah, he is.
There's a lot of good movies. You only named like half of them because you had to throw in the terrible ones.
I know. I have to fit in Serenity. It's just principle at this point in time.
Chappaquiddick. Good movie.
I'm going to guess 60.
I'll go 58.
I really think this is the white guy thing where he looks older than he really is.
Yeah.
46.
That felt closer to accurate. I'll go 50.
He's turning 56, so James, again, back to back.
Jason Clarke is 56?
Yep.
Man.
That's a pretty impressive film resume.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
All right, last one. This is a rest in peace moment for Donald Sutherland. He died in June of 2024, but Donald Sutherland is a legend, so we're going to give him some screen time here. He was in roles like Hunger Games, Pride and Prejudice, Clute, Moonfall, Horrible Bosses. Plays a really nice boss in that one. Beer Fest.
Moonfall.
Who doesn't remember Beer Fest? His role there is he's the patriarch of that family. Lord of War, Cold Mountain, Italian Job, Space Cowboys, Outbreak, JFK, Backdraft, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Day of the Locust. Legend.
Showing off his butt and Animal House. Come on.
I'm sure I missed a few key ones in there too.
Of all of the funny bits on this podcast, this has to be my favorite. Not only does Kyle pull a dead guy out again, even though we heckle him mercilessly for doing this.
Yes.
He talks about how legendary this person is, give them their flowers, and then says they were in Moonfall.
Hollywood legend Donald Sutherland, most famous for Beer Fest.
That's right.
Classic movie, of course.
Yeah.
Kyle, I'm going to tag that with another obscure fact. Donald Sutherland was a cologne aficionado.
Okay.
Seriously?
Yes, he was.
How old would Donald be today?
I'll say 82.
Golly. If you go over, is that like mean?
No. He's old.
94.
Give me 97.
Do birthdays count when you're dead is the real question. It's like...
Or are they like by sevens?
What age did you die at? That's the age, correct? Because that's when the clock stops. He's 94.
James, I thought you were going to take it, man. He would have turned 90 today, so Chip takes that as the only one who went under.
I was thinking of Kiefer Sutherland, trying to figure out his age.
Yeah.
Donald's his father, and just, add another, say, 20, 25 years on top and see where they are.
So James got 2 of the 3 right, and the one he got wrong was the one that we both guessed the same answer. Sorry, James. I did. This one's on me.
Hilarious.
Happy birthday to anybody else with a birthday on July 17th.
There you go, Kyle.
R.I.P. Donald Sutherland.
We're at episode 121. We had 5 actors we threw under the wheel that were Amanda Plummer, Asif Manvi, Ruth Wilson, and Marcia Gay Harden, but it doesn't matter because the wheel selected Chris Pine. Chris got 62 credits, 11 producing credits, 2 writing credits, and 1 directing credit, which we will talk about later tonight. But before we get into the minutia, the day-to-day, the roles we like, the roles we hate, and everything in between, we always start with a little actor trivia to see if James can stump us Fast and Furious style.
Yes, so Chip, you're a part of the initiated here, but for those of you at home who are new listeners, I'm about to read off 3 facts here, 2 of which are going to be true about the man of the hour, Chris Pine, 1 of which is not going to be true about him, but will be true about one of the many illustrious cast members of the Fast and Furious franchise. The gentlemen here are going to have to guess which one that is. Fact number 1, he's had 2 Barbie dolls made in his likeness. Fact number 2, Quentin Tarantino has praised him as his favorite actor of his generation. Fact number 3. For 2 consecutive years, his grandmother was the best-selling pinup model in the world.
I don't know what is more difficult, tying in a hilarious Fast and Furious reference or actually getting this right. That's what I'm trying to parse out right now.
The lie is fact 2, because everybody knows his favorite actor of this generation, Tarantino, is Jason Statham. Nobody has that kind of range, so that has to be his favorite.
Kyle, that is a decent guess.
Airtight logic.
Maria's fault.
But the problem is, with Tarantino, it could be anyone as his favorite actor.
Yeah.
The father was on Chips. I mean, obviously, Ponch and John understand the importance of his father.
I'm going to say the lie is also the Tarantino one, and I'm going to say he said that about Michelle Rodriguez, co-star of Dungeons and Dragons.
That might be right. When was the last time someone actually got it right?
Wow.
Time to break that, because it's obviously number 3, and I think James is going rapper this time because we talked about it last time, and it's MC Jin.
Yep.
MC Jin with the hot grandma. Okay, let's go.
Whole nother country. We don't know what's going on over there.
That's very. So, fact number 3: for 2 consecutive years, his grandmother was the best-selling pinup model in the world. Chip, you kind of alluded to it. He comes from a family of actors, with his mother and father both being actors, as well as his maternal grandmother, Anne Gwynn, who was one of Hollywood's original screen queens in the 30s and 40s. She was a top 5 pinup model during World War II, including 2 years where she was number 1 in the world, according to Life magazine, which I promise at the time was huge. When I saw that, I was like, let me get a look at this lady. Incredibly hot grandma. Credit where it's due. Yeah, totally see it. Yep, it absolutely tracks. Fact number 2, Quentin Tarantino praised him as his favorite actor of his generation. That is true. Tarantino was on Bill Simmons' Rewatchable podcast a couple years back, and he praised Pine's performance in Unstoppable. He said he's his favorite young actor of that era. He said, one of the things that's exciting about this movie is I'm a huge Chris Pine fan, and of actors his age, he's hand down my favorite. Now, to me, he became a movie star in Unstoppable, but I'm the biggest fan of him, and so if I had the right part, I would love to work with him. So much so that while promoting Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino actually snuck in a nod to Chris Pine's family roots and included a clip from one of his grandmother's movies on the TV in the background of one of the scenes. When Pine was told about it, he's like, every time I've ever spoken with Quentin Tarantino, he's been like the nicest person ever. I bring my mom to award shows with me, and Tarantino will stop and talk to us for like a half hour. And it's clear it's genuine. He's like, and I would love to work with him, but obviously, you know, he's kind of put a time limit on the amount of movies he's making. But it was just crazy to see it, because I never equated the two of them kind of being people who would interact with one another. And fact number 1, he's had 2 Barbie dolls made in his likeness. That's actually not true. Chris Pine's actually had 3 Ken dolls made in his likeness. Yeah, putting him behind only 2 actors, and one of them's actor in a loose sense. One of them's Daniel Radcliffe. Harry Potter's got a lot of Ken dolls. The other one's Elvis. So he's number 3, is the most of any man to have Ken dolls made after him.
Wow.
One was for James T. Kirk to promote Star Wars, and the other 2 were for Steve Trevor as tie into Wonder Woman. Was included a gift set of Barbie dolls for Gal Gadot, who this fact is actually about, who had 2 Barbie dolls made in her likeness, but as Wonder Woman. But she's more famous for playing Giselle Yashar in Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, as well as Furious 7 and Fast X is where her stardom clearly came from.
He's just Ken.
One up for that Chris in the Battle of Chris's.
Yeah.
Awesome. He's a fascinating dude with a fascinating family.
Very California. That's what I feel.
For sure.
All right, Case, what do we got for a snapshot in box office?
I enjoyed putting this one together, contrary to previous episodes where actors didn't have a ton of data, or I wasn't just 100% sure how much they were involved. This time was a lot easier because with Chris Pine, I could either just use memory of knowing which projects he was heavily involved with or had a lot of screen time, or it was a pretty easy Google search. I would say he's been pretty reliable in terms of box office trust, might be a good way to put it, because he ranks 7th on our list of 121 actors in average film budget, which tells me that Hollywood and producers feel good about putting him in heavy investments. Unfortunately, though, the biggest stinker on his resume was self-imposed, as he wrote, directed, starred, and maybe even did his own stunts in Poolman. I was able to find a couple different references that said that movie had a $10 million budget. but it only world gross 160,000, losing 9.8 mil. Other notable losses on his resume are Wonder Woman, 1984, The Contractor, and The Finest Hours, all losing more than $25 million each. Here are the ranks for Mr. Pine, a.k.a. the son of Sergeant Getreer. Average budget, 7th at $76.4 million per film. Total box office, 35th at $4.7 billion. Star meter, 28th. At time of recording, he's ranked 509. Critic rank, 40 with a 60.3%. Fan rank, 36, 62%. And box office metrics of 87 and 112, which gives him an overall ranking in our metrics of 59 out of 121. I almost added a column for coolest father, but I didn't want to go back and do all 120 episodes before this and rank them. So, because his dad, Robert Pine, would clearly be number one.
Genuinely shocked by that 7.
I was too. Average budget, $76.4 million. Do you think he gets his own trailer?
Yeah, for sure.
He's James Kirk.
And ironically, of all the actors we've covered, he's probably the one that would be most okay not getting his own trailer.
Seems that way.
Yeah, he seems pretty chill. Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Of the Munson ratings. Okay, interesting.
Makes sense. That part makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of all makes sense to me. The budget thing, it's a high number, him being 7th, but it makes sense that studios would look at Chris Pine and put their money behind him.
Agreed.
He is handsome and he's got some charisma, man. That's an easy way to sell a movie.
In a world where we don't have many movie stars, and maybe even movie stars are going away, he's reliable, certainly the everyman.
Yeah.
And that's what we're excited to talk about, Chip. You couldn't have teed me up any better. That's a great segue, digging into why this man is 7th in box office, but right down the middle of Case's box office snapshot. So appreciate you guys. Thanks, James. Thanks, Case.
Yeah, man.
Major early life things. Chris Pine, born Christopher Whitelaw Pine, 1980, born into an entertainment family, as James talked about. Like,
if you don't know who his dad is, Robert Pine, he was the sergeant in the popular TV show Chips. And when you see the two of them on screen together, it was staggering how much they looked alike and how similar they were. His dad did more than just Chips, too. So his dad actually was an elite character actor, probably. And it was so much that I used to get excited when I would see him in Chips, and he was actually out on the beat in a motorcycle. I was like, the sergeant's out, because he was just a fun character to get behind. And I'd be curious, like, how much advantage did his dad help him with, and how much advantage did his dad keep from him?
When it comes to people like this, they go out of their way to not put a lot of that out there because they're so in the public eye, where it's like, yeah, my dad was on 400 episodes of Chips, and my grandma was the most popular model in the world during World War II. It's like, how's your dad? He's like, he's great. Why? We don't dive in too deep on those things.
early on, he went to a Jewish liberal school in the Valley, followed by UC Berkeley up in NorCal. So he got his Bachelor of Arts in English, and that's where he started theater work. He did take a year to study at the University of Leeds in the UK while he was there. So, for, doing the exchange student thing, more performing arts work there as well. That had to be a nice change of pace and a kind of an access to a different type of acting you probably hadn't seen yet. First role coming out of Berkeley, he did an episode of ER. Anybody dig into like season 4, episode 21?
No, but I think people forget how crazy ER was. When it first came on, it was huge, right? But any show that is on for, 10 plus seasons, it starts to get into like cartoonish. And by the end, ER was like truly cartoonish. So I would love to see his episode. He might have been like, man mistakenly cut in half by a helicopter that had to be sewn back together. Like ER went full banana land near the end.
Other roles, he was in The Guardian and CSI Miami. So like many actors, agents getting you work, one episode appearances.
I was hoping in CSI Miami, he was just going to be like the bloated body that washed up that starts every episode, followed by the Who. But as I looked up some images of it, he's playing a clearly California guy with tank top piercing through his lip. So he had a little bit more substantial role than I was hoping for.
It's a younger version of the Poolman. That's what I hear. It's all part of the same universe, potentially.
Tommy Chandler, it might have been a prequel.
Well, his career changes in a significant way with his first major role. So first big movie out the gate is his role as Nicholas in The Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement, the much anticipated follow-up from the OG one, Princess Diaries, and James drew this.
Case, question for you. Do you have the box office for the first Princess Diaries handy? Because I'm assuming it was massive.
The world gross for the first one was $165 million.
The reason I asked that is because I'd never seen it. I only know of it. And I didn't even watch it for this. I just went straight to number 2. I don't know if the canon is necessary for the viewers, but from what I can tell, it was a lot of Anne Hathaway was kind of perceived to be an ugly duckling, but it was like classic, hair up with glasses. We put the hair down, we take the glasses off. Oh, it's Anne Hathaway. She's smoking hot. That's kind of how it came across. So I went in kind of blind with Princess Diary 2, A Royal Engagement, directed again by Gary Marshall. It was released in 2004. Has horrific critic score of 26. Audience score is a little higher. It's at 59%. The film obviously brings back Hathaway and I wrote this name down because I really wanted to try to figure out where this fake country was. Her name's Mia Thermopolis. That's a Greek name. This is not a Greek city that they're in. She plays a awkward turned regal princess of Genovia, and she is the granddaughter of Julie Andrews, who's her elegant grandmother, Queen Clarice. Set 5 years after the original, the film follows Hathaway as she graduates from Woodrow Wilson College, which is one of my fraternity brothers, who's one famous for being a Phi Psi and then also famous for being racist. So she graduates from there and she prepares to take the throne, only discover there's a catch that according to Genovian law, she's got to marry someone before she could become queen. It's exactly what you think it is. It's leaning into the classic fairy tale tropes. It does it with kind of like a self-awareness to it of what it is, a humor to it. And it doesn't try to be more than that, which I kind of respected. Chris Pine, again, his first role, he plays Prince Nicholas Devereaux. And I know you guys are shocked by this, but he's a charming potential rival to the throne. And, friends become enemies, enemies become friends, and his chemistry with Hathaway is undeniable, right? The romance between their characters develops quickly like it does in all kind of princess stories, but, there's enough witty banter to kind of keep the young viewers invested. Pine is charismatic, and it's subtle, and I think he's like 24 in this role, and you can see the hints of what the major star he'd later become. Is it predictable? Absolutely. But is predictability a bad thing when it comes to comfort films tailored towards 8-year-old girls? I don't think so. I honestly don't know how I could review this movie fairly, because since it's tailored to 7 to 10-year-old girl audience, but it's polished up enough with enough effort put into it to not be offensive to an adult man. I'd say Princess Diaries 2 knows exactly what it is. It's sweet, family-friendly, fairy tale, modern princess, and 25% is completely unfair to a movie that's not meant for adults at all. I think people probably gave it that score because they looked at it as like a cash grab, which I think is fair when it comes to Disney sequels. But I think I'm closer to the audience where it's like I'd give it like a 6 out of 10.
As a father of my oldest daughter, this was aimed directly at her at that age. Yes, I have seen both of the Princess Diary films. Yes, they are exactly what you described. They were aimed at that age group. They enjoyed these films. They had no problem rewatching these films.
No notes here, James. I think you nailed your review. Chris Pine, he doesn't seem like his first role. He's tons of charisma on screen. And I've seen the original Princess Diaries. She learns and comes to terms with the fact that she's now going to be the queen of Genovia. That's what you missed.
I wanted to try to get into the war-torn past of Genovia and the crimes that this family has committed against the people of that country, but it's not really available online. They've erased the history books of Genovia. We've always been the good guys, and we've always done the right thing. That's the Genovia way.
Yep.
That's the history I know.
Aubrey, you got to sneak in some Genovia history into one of your classes and to see if they're paying attention.
I'm here for that because it would be funny. It'll be like that clip that went viral a couple years ago about those college kids that did a project on Wakanda and the teacher didn't know that it was fake.
I watched this on a plane, James, because the American Airlines had a category in their free entertainment called Battle of the Chris's, and it had all the movies with all the Chris's.
Kyle, I did the same for the
Did
next
you?
movie we're going to review.
And I almost watched the next one, but I chose Princess Diaries too. Both were not free to rent, so I had to make a choice at that moment in time.
My wife went out of her way to say she was shocked by how unattractive she thought Chris Pine was in this role specifically. She's like, I think of him as hot. I don't think he's hot here. I don't know what it is.
His hair is not quite as refined as it is.
Kyle, that's the only thing I said. It's the haircut. It's totally the haircut. It's the only thing, yeah.
He doesn't have it contoured.
That would now be the movie I'd be most concerned about.
like, who's watched this movie 600 times in our house? Jesus. Google searches like plane tickets to Genovia.
We only have 1 year before our next review, and so 2006, he played Darwin Tremor in Smokin' Aces.
Hey, has anybody else seen this?
I have seen Smokin' Aces. I do not remember him in that.
I didn't either. I had to do some clip searchings. He was like the lead of the very weird and like almost like surfer gang assassins. It's a very, very different role than anything that...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was fun to see him in this role and kind of breaking up this rom-com lead character that it looks like is developing.
It's funny that you put them as surfer and I put them as queerly white supremacists.
Yeah, that might actually be more accurate. Yeah, that's probably more accurate.
Surfer is code. Come on, it's code.
I forgot about this.
If you go to the IMDb profile, the first still, you can see him like almost in like a duck face sorority pose. It's just our luck that we were able to find him. And is it just Case's luck that he got lowest critic score, which with his favorite actress, Lindsay Lohan? I don't know, but we're about to find out where he stands on this here dilemma.
I cannot wait for this. I'm so excited.
Just My Luck is a 2006 rom-com with very little rom and almost undetectable levels of com, starring Lindsay Lohan and Chris Pine.
So good.
That was not AI. I wrote that line myself. This movie's basically the good luck version of Freaky Friday, where Lindsay Lohan is this wildly lucky person who doesn't believe in luck, even though she's clearly lucky in everything that she does. And Chris Pine is basically the unluckiest person in the world, and nothing good ever happens to him. So where this is like a Freaky Friday is through a series of events at a CD or a music company promotional event. It's a masquerade ball. They end up on dancing together and they have a kiss and their lucks switch. And Lindsay Lohan takes Chris Pine's bad luck. Chris Pine now becomes basically the luckiest person in the world.
Sorry to interrupt, Case. Don't hate this premise.
No.
It's a body swap, not a bad premise.
There's nothing wrong with it so far. There's no like depth
Yeah.
to what's going on. And everything's like super corny. It wasn't a great movie, as you can probably surmise by the comments I've made so far. And I can't really recommend anyone watch it. However, it does hold two key Chris Pine elements for our purpose tonight. One, if you're doing a true deep dive into the career and growth of Pine, this is super important to see because it gives you the glimpse of what his career may have been like if he had really leaned into the romantic lead in these types of movies and then just traveled down that path for the next 25 years, which would have been perfectly fine, right? He would have been great in those roles and he made a ton of money. But maybe even more intriguing, we score really well in the ratings with conspiracy theorists, and I think they're going to perk up during this part. Because at one point in the movie, he jumps in front of a moving car to save a record executive whom he was trying to impress. After saving this guy's life, he jumps up and yells, "You saved my life, Spider-Man." As we'll talk about later in his career, he is the voice of Peter Parker in an animated Spider-Man movie.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool coincidence. Okay. All in all, Pine was fun to watch for the homework assignment aspect of this, but I don't think this movie will make any of his top performance lists. If you're wanting to watch a comedy about luck, go watch director Donald Petrie's first movie he made, which was the classic Opportunity Knocks, starring Dana Carvey.
I watched this movie on a plane for free, as Kyle had mentioned. A couple things stood out to me. One, the moment the movie starts, I kind of dug the premise, like the way they introduced that Lindsay Lohan's incredibly lucky. I thought was funny, and this is all during like the opening credits, where it's like she makes a wrong call, and the people are like, "Hey, you just called like 106, blah blah blah. What is the mystery song of the day?" And she goes, "Oops, I did it again. I'm sorry." And they go, "That's correct. You won tickets to so and so." I was like, very clever. Like, I appreciate that. I also found it very corny but funny that they try to paint him as like the ugly duckling, and it's just like,
Yeah.
look, he's got glasses on. Isn't that gross? It's like, this man is beautiful. Like, what are you talking
And
about?
oversized clothing, because he had ill-fitting clothing and glasses. He's ugly all of a sudden.
Look, he's got a winter coat on. Isn't that gross? But then he also picks up a dollar that's got poop on it. And I was like, I haven't seen a poo dollar depicted on film. And that was really revolutionary to me. This movie's going to be horrific. Can't wait.
Objectively, this seems like a very interesting casting because you've got a rising star or a person they want to be a rising star in Chris Pine.
Yep.
And obviously, Lindsay Lohan, if she would not have had some of the challenges she had, was going to star probably for the next 10 years or so. I see this as certainly trying to hit a market and certainly casting very well.
Yeah, a lot of times we have movies like this. It seems like this was filmed before other projects and then released because they were big. But I did find some articles that said that Chris Pine was cast specifically because of his performance in Princess Diaries.
Genovia, they had an agreement.
Yeah.
That's right. Back then, there was no tariffs against Genovia.
I haven't seen this movie. I'll never watch this movie. The same with Princess Diaries 2. I haven't seen that movie. I'll never watch that movie. I listened to a podcast where he talked about his career. He said doing those two movies, Princess Diaries, Just My Luck, kind of showed him that he didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If he was like, I don't knock anybody for doing this, and they were great opportunities, and I love my time, and all the stuff that you're supposed to say. But he was just like, I didn't want to be a prince.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do this.
He wanted to boldly go where no man has gone before.
It's funny that that's where we go really soon, but like,
yeah,
the way he talks about his career is the exact opposite as how I thought he would talk about his career. He's not interested in any of that stuff. Like, I'm not even sure he likes Star Trek.
Which is crazy.
Like, he doesn't want any of that stuff. He wants to do like really weird off the wall stuff.
And that is very William Shatner-ish too.
I haven't seen Smokin' Aces, but he said, he was like, I loved getting that role. That was a huge thing for me. He's like, that's the kind of stuff I want to do. And it's just like, all right.
2 rom-coms and a white supremacist. That's what we've talked about so far.
It's like, I don't know if he's like outright white supremacist, but they're all white guys with their heads shaved and they're shirtless. You know, they look like a duck. You walk like a duck.
Nazi tattoo.
Yeah.
When he grew up, he watched Eric Estrada, who was like the heartthrob in the 80s.
Classic.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if he looked at what was happening with Eric Estrada's and his career, and he was like, I do not want to be the heartthrob. I want to do interesting projects, because nobody would have Eric Estrada on anything unless it was Chips or like sex symbol adjacent, because he was Eric Estrada. He was Frank Poncherello.
I wonder if that had something to do with it, but I do know he talks about his dad.
Yeah.
His dad was like a working actor. He wasn't like a big star. He was just a working actor. And that's what he grew up watching. And he's really into theater.
Yeah.
That's the part of it that he really liked.
He wants to be a thespian.
Yeah.
He wants to do interesting stuff. Tell cool stories. Not just rely solely on his looks.
And
like Chip.
His looks, his charisma.
Chip doesn't rely solely on his looks. He aims to be more interesting.
Exactly. That's why I grew facial hair. Lots of beards. Lots of crazy mustaches.
Well, you guys teed this up well. He became the youngest lead ever in a Star Trek project as James T. Kirk in 2009 Star Trek, and then appeared at least 2 more times in Into Darkness and Beyond. He's a movie star. He just comes on screen, and he's just charisma.
I forgot that the first 15 minutes of the first movie are like incredibly emotional.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
And after it, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's really well done, and that's why it's crazy to hear that he's like, yeah, I don't want to do the Star Trek thing. I get it. You want to be taken more seriously as a dramatic actor, but like, these movies are dramatic. Like, I'm not a Star Trek fan, and when I watch these, it's like, these are just good movies, even if you don't know the lore of Star Trek, which I did not.
Yeah.
And this opens him up to do anything he wants. You play James T. Kirk in Star Trek and you body it like he did, you can do anything you want.
This is an incredible cast. Certainly J.J. Abrams, these movies set him up to take over Star Wars.
Yeah.
And they cast Pines. You're taking over from Shatner, who certainly is character actor among character actors. And Pine did an incredible job. He was James T. Kirk as well as any person could be.
Didn't Shatner sign off on this?
They had to, right?
My answer is not an official one. I think the movie was so big, it didn't matter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that fan base wanted it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it really mattered if he signed off or not.
Okay.
My only critique of the movie is I think his character arc is rushed. I haven't watched it again this past time. Like, I feel like they're trying to tell a story about how he goes from the rough and tough guy who can't deal with authority, and he ascends to leadership really, really quickly. And that felt a little rushed, but the movie itself just does a really good job telling a story, so I'm not going to knock it too much for that.
His first Star Trek movie is fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
There's just charismatic people everywhere, beautiful people everywhere, saying a bunch of nonsense words. It's amazing. The only Star Trek I know are these three movies. And I really like this first movie.
We've covered a lot of Star Trek on this podcast. I mean, F. Murray Abraham is the villain in his Star Trek movie. We covered Tom Hardy as a villain in his Star Trek movie, too.
And if we look at the last, 10, 15 years as pop culture's heyday, I mean, certainly we had these incredible movies, incredible properties. I mean, they threw everything they could at this film, and it hit. It hit really well.
This movie made $386 million world gross. His biggest budget up until this point was Princess Diaries at $40 million, and this movie had $150 million. So this was his first giant box office film. And I forgot Zoe Saldana's in this.
Yep.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She's in every sci-fi universe.
Very pleased to be able to watch all three of them again. She's the best.
And he started off in Genovia, and look where he is now.
He's boldly going where no one has gone before.
Again, 20 minutes in and I am like on the edge of my seat.
Yep.
Like I'm rooting for this rebel orphaned kid and that I know nothing about. I'm like, what is going on right now? It's like, I don't even know any of these names. They're like, oh, this is the famous character from the show that is a doctor. I was like, means nothing to me, but I'm rooting for that dude. Like, I can't wait. Like, this is great.
It's a great cast. Bruce Greenwood, he's awesome. Zachary Quinto is great. Bana, Simon Pegg, Anton Yelchin, John Cho, Carl Urban. Like, it's a great cast. Winona Ryder shows up as his mom.
Spock's mom.
Yeah.
I think the fun part for Pine and the writers was, how do we get to the William Shatner version of Captain Kirk?
Mm-hmm.
So that gives Chris Pine's character a lot of room to do just fun, rebellious shit that is entertaining to watch in the story arc.
He said the mirroring of what they were doing with James Kirk mirrored what he had to do leading this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, James Kirk had to figure out how to be the captain of this whole big ship and do all these different things. And he's like, and then I was thrust into a similar situation of being like first on the call sheet of this massive movie. He's like, I had no idea what I was doing.
Interesting.
Like, that colors the performance a little bit when I look at it retrospectively.
Mm.
And it just is one of those things where it's like it worked out perfectly.
He can't just be Ken.
James, top performances we're looking at tonight. The guy's bio says the only thing that he spends more time on than watching movies are the Mets and Jets.
Well, poor soul. He didn't choose that life. So, like, I can't mock him. It's like a hereditary disease.
Next year, he joined Hal Ketchum in the music video for Small Town Saturday Night. Is that right, Case? Did I nail that?
No, it's a movie.
You don't know the song Small Town Saturday Night?
But that's funny because that might be the intro.
Small Town Saturday Night. It's a small town Saturday night.
I was hoping it'd be that interesting, but it's just about some local small town musician. I think he's in Texas, who's trying to escape small town life through music. There's a pretty interesting scene with him and his dad on the porch acting together. I know we see him singing later in his career.
2 times.
I think he did some small work along that lines in this.
He can sing. It doesn't shock me at all that he was doing some musical stuff this early in his career. You guys mentioned this movie earlier, Unstoppable, alongside Denzel, right? 2010?
Yeah. Rosario Dawson. Him and Denzel are stuck on the train trying to stop it, and Rosario Dawson's in the command center trying to talk them through everything.
This movie rules.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like a great performance. I wouldn't say like, hey, you got to watch this to understand Chris Pine as an actor. What I will say is you got to watch this movie because it fucking rules. I've probably seen this movie like 25 times. I love Unstoppable.
Really?
So you're a huge Tony Scott fan because this is like the most Tony Scott movie there is. It's fast, it's quick, and you're like, I totally understand what I'm supposed to expect here.
Yep. And Chris Pine represents the new young guys that are coming in to take the old veteran guys' jobs. Denzel Washington being one of those guys. And they're the only two that can stop this train. And spoiler, they stop it. And it's fucking awesome. This movie's amazing.
I enjoy this in his filmography because it's doing two things. One, he's having to act a fantastic scenario, but at the same time, he's acting with Denzel. And I think it's really cool at this point of his career.
Lohan and Denzel Washington. I mean, what can you say?
That's right.
Yeah.
Just checking them off one at a time.
Stack them up, baby. Stack them up. He dated a South African model, Karen Capra, from 2011 to 2013. When you're Chris Pine, models want to talk to you, I guess. So you date them, and that's what happens. And then while he's dating her, he's on the romantic comedy classic that is This Means War with Tom Hardy, where he plays FDR. And if you've listened to our Tom Hardy episode, you will remember how much Aubrey really loves his character name of FDR as he shakes his head.
I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. I don't like it.
No.
Just thinking about it, I was just like, oh, God, he's in this movie. Yuck.
The premise is gross, and this is like him going back to the rom-com side of playing like a sleazeball, and I'm just glad he didn't do a whole lot more of this in his career.
When you hear him talk about his career, like, he tries to choose interesting things, and you can see it. I don't get this one.
I don't either.
Like, I get the appeal of making a cast, but did he not read the screenplay? Like, I love Tom Hardy. I love Chris Pine. I love a lot of the people in this movie, so I just pretend like it doesn't exist.
The Rotten Tomatoes review of this movie is a career lowlight for all three of its stars.
Pretty accurate. If you want to hear us absolutely shred it, go to the Tom Hardy episode. That's where that lives. He goes to the voice acting side for 2012's Rise of the Guardians, played Jack Frost. The story is told around him as Jack Frost and his character in the story, so it's a voice acting cast with lots of really good voice actors and actors you would know, but it is a Jack Frost story around Santa and all these other creatures.
He's got a good voice. This makes sense.
Mm-hmm. They hired him on to be the lead of a pretty big animated picture there in 2012. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, 2014.
Yeah, this is another big character in the world of action films. Jack Ryan, I think, 5 actors have played Jack Ryan, and all of them have been pretty impressive names. And so to be in that company, I think is pretty cool. Similar to Star Trek, I think this is the beginning of the character.
Directed by Kenneth Branagh.
He's good in it.
He talked about this one too. He was really excited for this. All in, and for whatever reason didn't work. I haven't seen it, so I have no idea.
If you watch it today, literally today, in my case, it's perfectly fine. And he does a good job with the character.
This could have been his Indiana Jones type of character. I think he could have done 10 movies on if it would have hit the way he wanted it to hit.
Who plays it now? Is it Krasinski that plays Jack Ryan?
Yeah. And it's a TV show now, which is a little bit easier. Not easier, but it's a little bit more effective with the storytelling.
Yeah, better for long form. To your point, Case, big character, big book, big character's been played by Harrison Ford, so they trust him with a big action project. This is a departure from some of the other stuff we saw. He plays Rex in Horrible Bosses 2 with Kevin Spacey and Christoph Waltz. He plays the son of Christoph Waltz, who stages basically a kidnapping and is an absolute lunatic, a certified lunatic, but fun to watch on screen.
Yeah, I think he was very funny in this role. I enjoy when they first meet him, and he's just bragging about how rich he's going to make them. He's like, yeah, you can just buy like all this cool shit. He's like, I'll give you an example. And he calls in his secretary, and it's just this like smoking hot blonde woman. And he's like, hey, could you say this word for me? And she's got an Australian accent. And immediately all the guys are like, whoa. they're like, yeah, dude, we want whatever you're doing, man. Absolutely.
When they attempt to kidnap him and fail miserably, and he's like, I didn't know you guys had the balls. Like, let's go. I don't know. I enjoy that form of Chris Pine.
I think this is the stuff that he really wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Being an asshole to his cleaning lady. It's fun to see him play like this type of role. do you see the water in the sink? You know that's disgusting, right? Like, you understand?
But to kind of flip it, you got him in Horrible Bosses 2, then you have him in Into the Woods. Very different movie as Cinderella's Prince alongside Christine Baranski and Emily Blunt.
Chris Pine has range.
I'm just waiting for you guys to all shit on this so I can come back around and tell everyone how good this movie actually is.
Never seen it.
No, I have nothing bad to say.
It's like a musical. This is not a movie that I would recommend for people that are on the fence about musicals. Like, you gotta really be in your musical bag to get into this one. This movie's great. It's a great cast, great songs, great music. Chris Pine's song is absolutely hilarious. His performance as the prince would play well with this podcast because he's basically just making fun of it.
I don't remember it.
He's Prince Charming, kind of. He's chasing out Anna Kendrick and all that kind of stuff. And his song Agony is hilarious because he's in love, and it's just this like tongue-in-cheek kind of rip at this character and what they go through. And they're just like trying to one-up each other the whole time. It's just a hilarious bit.
Is it more sing-songy or more personality-driven, his song?
It's surprisingly kind of both. Like, he can sing. Like, this isn't like, oh, he's an actor and he sang. Like, he gets after it. My only real problem with this movie is that Meryl Streep can't sing. This is a musical theater fans musical. They get after it when they sing. And so he's got to sing the song. He's got to hit the notes, but it's both.
I agree.
When I'm searching for Chris Pine movies, Into the Woods comes up with two versions. One says Into the Woods, and the other one says Sing Along. What's the difference between the two versions I'm going to watch?
So the sing-along version will put the words on the screen.
Oh, okay.
This is like a Disney musical thing that they do so kids can sing with the movie.
Okay.
It sounds like you're not around theater kids. If they want to sing them.
Or kids in general. So
they want to sing along.
Yeah.
Cases like, do they play volleyball? Because then I might interact with them.
Yeah. How tall are they?
If they're not a libero, I don't want to interact with them.
I sang along with Beastie Boys' Sabotage in 2 different Star Trek movies. That was awesome.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Didn't even need the words.
Never a bad choice. I once heard a critic make fun of that choice in Star Trek Beyond and unsubscribed from that podcast.
It's an inside joke because William Shatner is known for a commercial where he was arguing with the person over the word sabotage. And he goes, it's sabotage.
Oh.
You should look it up. And William Shatner is refusing to say sabotage. And it says, no, the word is sabotage. Sabotage.
That is so funny.
That's one of the best inside nuggets in the history of our podcast.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chip, he brings the fire, and let's see if he's going to bring the fire for his review of Largest Critic Gap, which is Z for Zachariah, plays Caleb, a love triangle apocalyptic film from 2015.
No. I think you're pronouncing everything wrong. Everyone took a very southern accent. Z for Zebediah.
Not wrong.
Z for Zachariah. And, of course, it's got this incredible cast. And, in fact, it almost could be a 3-person play with Chris Pine playing one. Is it Chiwetel
Ejiofor?
That's it. He's obviously a very talented actor. Margot Robbie, Chris Pine and Margot Robbie, both have these fake Southern accents. And why wouldn't they? The world has ended. We learn there's this apocalyptic type of situation in the South. Margot Robbie is running a farm in this valley that somehow has survived this, only to have a gentleman kind of arrive and certainly finds this paradise. And they end up meeting because he is bathing in poisoned water and he's going to have to survive, sickness and all this other part. He is a scientist and he's going to help Margot Robbie's character take this farm to a different level. It's going to be able to actually produce the food to get them through the winter, only to have Chris Pine's character show up. And Chris Pine's character is going to introduce religion to him and introduce, sexual tension and all this other part. This really could play as a 3-person play as opposed to a film.
Chip, as I watched it, I thought of it as a much less good and much less funny version of the show The Last Man on Earth, where Will Forte's character runs into Kristen Schaal out of necessity. They're the last humans on Earth. And then an incredibly attractive person shows up as a third person. And now Homegirl's going, oh crap, what decision did I make? And that's exactly what happens Last Man on Earth when January Jones shows up.
Is this a great film? I don't think it's one for the ages. I mean, I can absolutely see why these actors would want to take it. It wasn't a huge budget for it. I think it was only like $7.5 million. It lost money, absolutely lost money.
This is one I watched for the first time for this. I was really excited. I like all the people involved. I don't think this movie's very good at all because it was close to being pretty good. But I think the problem is movies like this that are usually typically really slow, they play themselves out in terms of like character development comes in these slow beats. There's some stuff still said. This movie doesn't say anything out loud. I don't know how any of the characters feel. I don't know why they're doing any of the things that they're doing. I find that to be really frustrating because while I can put the pieces together when I need to, you have to give me pieces to put together. It's like taking puzzle pieces out of a box, but you're missing 20 of the pieces. So, like, I don't know why Chiwetel Ejiofor does what he does in this movie. I don't know how he feels about Margot Robbie. I don't know how Margot Robbie feels about him. I don't know why she does what she does with Chris Pine. I don't know any of these things. And so we get to this final scene, which I think could have been a really good final scene, but I don't get it. And then the movie just ends.
And this was based on a book. It seems like they deviated from the book, too.
It being adapted from a book actually makes a lot of sense to me because the hardest thing to do in an adaptation of a book is take inner dialogue and turn it to outward expression. And this movie struggles with that.
Right.
Because clearly these characters have inner dialogue, but we just don't know what that is because they're not able to turn it into anything that we can actually see.
The book came out in 1974.
What if we were just really hate the fact they took a bunch of really pretty people and made them intentionally look ugly, and we just can't get over that as an audience?
The very first observation that my wife and I made was that what kind of end-of-the-world scenario is this when you have three incredibly beautiful people that just show up? Because, like, I get the comparison to Last Man Standing, except, you know, her first person was Chiwetel Ejiofor. Like, Chris Pine, also objectively handsome. But, like, she can't really make a bad choice there.
Yeah.
I think about what I'd do if I show up in that situation. Guess there's no need for me here. Like,
let's repopulate. I'm going to go find another survivor. He goes to the TV side, 2015, 2016. He did 24 episodes of SuperMansion. He played Dr. Devizo, Robo-Dino. Wet Hot American Summer, played Eric. First Day at Camp, alongside John Slattery and Kristen Wiig, which I believe this was the Netflix adaptation. The 6-part series, correct? I don't really remember him in this, though. I remember a lot of other characters. I don't remember him.
So when I saw it on the list, I had to go back and check. And he is so funny because his role was minimal, but he's like the singer that they randomly will like bring in throughout the show to do like the montage 80s riffs. There's like a scene where camp counselors are like getting into a fight, and he just like appears on the roof of the cabin and just absolutely shreds like a fucking song. And like the power of his music brings all the friends together. Like, it's funny in context, but like watching him objectively perform, quite a singer. He's got a good voice.
So another singing performance.
Those Cal Berkeley kids, boy, they can sing.
Yeah, good voice for sure.
The Finest Hours. I didn't realize The Finest Hours lost that much money. I watched it. It's on Disney Plus. It's about a very dramatic Coast Guard rescue. I'm saying dramatic because that's what was in the description of the movie. I don't know how dramatic it actually is, but yeah, it's like a Disney movie, so I didn't think it would lose that much money.
Well, they had to hire a lot of lifeguards for that. A lot of the budget. I don't know. I've never seen that movie. I just know it lost a lot of money.
I think the budget was them paying actors, because there's a ton of actors that you would know in this movie. It had to be a huge acting budget.
I imagine it's a big undertaking to film this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Anything in the water.
Because they're almost exclusively on the water.
For the most part.
I think it's one of those things where it's marketed as one of those stories, and every once in a while, those like hero stories don't hit.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, these people did this amazing thing, you should come watch it. And sometimes it just doesn't hit. If this is the type of thing you're in the mood for, then it'll work for you.
The main leads are Pine, Casey Affleck, Ben Foster, and Eric Bana. So you see the Ben Foster connection that we'll see again in Hell and High Water. But again, another movie where Chris Pine, number one on the call sheet. He plays the hero of the story.
small Rachel Brosnahan performance pre-Maisel.
Yes, she is. That is true.
She's good in this too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good movie. Like, it's got a good script. I just don't think it's as compelling as it tries to sell itself to be. It's an impressive rescue, but the way they build it up is very slow. And the story, we've got this many hours until it goes down. It's not an immediate capsizing situation. It takes a while as they're trying to troubleshoot.
It's pieced together in a way that doesn't show how remarkable a thing this is. So it lands a little flat.
If Congress was your coworker alongside Alan Tudyk, it's a short.
It's hilarious. His character is supposed to be Congress, and he gets hired to come into this office and work, and they're just basically making fun of how Congress operates. He just sits down, and he's like protesting. He's like, we're going to continue to get paid, but I'm not going to do anything. And they're like, you can't do that. And Alan Tudyk, who we covered previously, is the boss. And he's like, well, technically, it's a pretty funny, like, 3-minute video. And Chris Pine goes after it in this role.
He's been pretty politically active, in the 2010s and 2020s. So it makes sense that he would do something like this.
It's a good watch.
Well, let's take it to highest critic score, which is a movie we talked about before on the Jeff Bridges episode, and we praised it thoroughly. I drew highest critic score, and it's Hell or High Water from 2016. So I'm going to kind of keep this brief. I'll talk a little bit, just like quick synopsis for folks who don't know the movie, so you kind of get a grounding. But beyond that, I'm interested in, we focused pretty heavily on Jeff Bridges last time, but thinking about Chris Pine and his situation with Ben Foster's character, how you guys perceive that. But if you're unfamiliar with the story, it brings together great actors in a morally complex story where you can understand everyone's motivations. And because of that, it's not a good guy, bad guy. There clearly are good guys and bad guys in this, but you understand why everybody makes the decisions they do, because Taylor Sheridan as the director does a really good job of helping build up their origin stories, basically. So basically, Tony and Tanner Howard, played by Chris Pine and Ben Foster, they play these two brothers who are robbing a series of banks, Texas Midland Bank, because that bank screwed over their family. So basic gist is, by the end of the movie, they take about 40 grand from all these banks, turn around, use it to pay off their mother's lien and pay off back taxes, and then get them to manage the trust for Chris Pine's kids who are on top of all this oil in Texas. So that's a really short explanation to say, I love this movie. It's incredible. It may be my favorite movie of 2016. Jeff Bridges is incredible in this. His dynamic with his partner is fantastic. Ben Foster is a certified insane person. Aubrey would say he gets after it in this role. And Chris Pine is, you see a different Chris Pine than you see in a lot of these other films where he's more measured. He's more calm. He carries a lot of internal pain. So a lot of that stuff that Aubrey likes to talk about, of like, you as an actor, can you carry pain behind your eyes? And can I notice that without you talking about those things? I just love that final scene where Jeff Bridges shows up to their house and he has that conversation at the end where he says, maybe you'll find some peace. And he said, maybe I can give you some peace too. And just saying everything without saying it. And I just love Hell or High Water. Chris Pine's amazing in this.
One of the cool things I heard him talk about with this was the interviewer asked him about improv. I think David McKenzie's his name, the director's name. Let Jeff Bridges improv. And Chris Pine was like, well, nah, we didn't really get to do that. He's like, what we really did was him and Ben Foster would basically limit the dialogue. They'd go through the script and take dialogue out to try to make it as small as possible for their scenes, which speaks to everything that you just said. Chris Pine's great. This movie's great. It's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. I love everything about it. It's one of the best movies that's been made in the 2000s. Everyone should see it. It's one of the best depictions of how capitalism has left people behind and what that looks like and the impact it has on those people.
Yeah.
I love how you bring morality into this, Kyle, when you're like, there's clearly good people and bad people, because I do think the movie makes it clear who those people are. And I'm interested in how people would walk away with who they think the good people and the bad people are. Because I think the movie's gray on Chris Pine, if he's a good or a bad person.
No, yeah.
I find that to be really interesting because it posits the very simple philosophical question of, would you still bread to feed your family type thing? It posits that in a really complicated scenario with Chris Pine and runs it all the way through, and you kind of have to deal with that. And Jeff Bridges has to deal with that. And I think the conversation he has early on with the waitress that got tipped the money has a big impact on how he goes into that final scene, which is, I think, beautiful writing.
Aubrey, I think because of that gray area that his character's in, I think he has the hardest job in this movie. It's very ambiguous, like how we should feel. Ben Foster, it's easy to know how to feel about Ben Foster. It's easy to know how to feel about Jeff Bridges. Chris Pine, he's got the hardest role in this movie. He nails it.
My favorite line of Chris Pine is when he's talking to his son. And his son, he said, "You're going to hear some things about me, and you can hear some stuff about your uncle." And he goes, "I won't believe it." He goes, "No, believe every word of it."
Yeah, it's all true.
It's all true. Don't do it like me.
It blew me away the first time I watched it. I love Ben Foster. In watching this movie, it's hard to say which of the three main performances is my favorite. I would say it changes depending on the viewing. But in my most recent rewatching of it, I'll say I really do appreciate how accurate I feel it is a depiction of siblings, where it's clear Ben Foster has a relationship with his mother that is different than Chris Pine. It's clear he has a relationship with his father that is different than Chris Pine. But it is also clear that the one person who kind of gets him is his brother. And they have like real conversations about life and their family and what they're doing, even though Ben Foster's clearly a criminal who's not playing with the full deck of cards and is kind of a wild man.
He's a Comanche. Lord of the Plains, James.
Dude, I love that fucking scene. It's
I know you do.
where he's just trolling the dude at the poker game, and then the guy realizes like, oh, I'm dealing with a fucking crazy person. Like, I'm gonna let this guy go. I thought I was just gonna intimidate this dude at the poker game, but then I realized Ben Foster is a fucking nut job, and I'm gonna keep it moving. But
one of the things I noticed this time around, it's also clear that Ben Foster knows that he's gonna die at the end of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
And that says so much about that character and that performance. It's really good. And it's the layer of like what separates a big performance from being a great one. Because a lot of actors can go really big and be crazy. But to tether it to something really emotional and real is actual brilliance. And that's what Ben Foster does in this. Because you watch it and you're just like, oh, he does this crazy thing at the end. He knew we were going to get there the entire time. And Chris Pine had no idea. And that says a lot about their relationship.
It's a great movie. Chris Pine's great in it. Ben Foster's great.
There's another example of great casting.
Mm-hmm.
Pine has worked with a lot of good actors.
All right, 5 years until our last review. 2017, SNL does some singing, compares himself to the other Chris's. Pop culture moment. Chris Evans is Captain America. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. Like, the world wants to know.
Yeah, very funny monologue. He's singing a song saying, "I'm not that Chris."
Yeah.
And so he's using all the cast members of SNL to help him out. They'll come up, he'll be like, "Yeah, you know who I am, right?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I love you in Captain America." So they just kept making fun of the fact that people always make these mistakes. And the whole song was him singing, "I'm not that Chris," which was a fun watch.
It was, but I never confused him with any of those other actors.
No.
But, I mean, that's where, to me, it was kind of flat. So.
He was on a talk show recently talking about all the people he confused him with. He listed a bunch, and I thought were really funny that people confused him with. And he finished with Jeff Daniels. I'm like, I don't see that one.
The one I heard him say the most was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
He would get Ryan Reynolds a lot.
I see more Ryan Gosling than I see Ryan Reynolds with him.
Well, I'm skewed because I'm a Robert Pine fan, so I know what the Pines look like. I don't mistake him for anybody. So
Case is a pine nut. That's what they call Chris Pine's fans. He's a pine nut.
I've been called worse.
It's like the Burnaholics, man. I imagine he was on SNL because in 2017 he played Steve Trevor in Wonder Woman.
Yep.
I mean, Wonder Woman was a hit, just an absolute massive hit. Young girls, they were like, this is the superhero we wanted to see on screen. And he plays a huge role in that movie, in those movies.
Oh, yeah.
When was the last time you watched this?
I haven't seen Wonder Woman in a long time. I maybe have seen it twice.
Let me know when you do.
What happened?
Is it because everybody now realized how bad Gal Gadot is and the auras wore off?
That definitely plays a factor. The movie's fine. It's similar to Black Panther, where at the time it was like a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But then you look back and you're like, actually, this movie has a lot of issues in the third act. It's not great. Like Black Panther's still a good movie. This movie's still a good movie. The third act is a mess. The best thing that works for it is what worked for it at the time. That fish out of water humor was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Her not knowing anything and Chris Pine running around trying to keep it together.
Acclimate her. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still funny.
How does the love situation, does it still stand up? Do you think it's believable or do you think it's forced?
No, I think it's bad.
Is it because of the writing? Is it because of the acting?
I think it's both, because it's definitely rushed. They like allude to it early, but then kind of leave it for most of the time. And then all of a sudden, you have like a kind of an awkward interaction at the end of the movie. Then I'm supposed to believe it's a love that is powerful, that goes through all this time, and Gal Gadot's the one that's got to convince me of that on her own. It's not great, especially when you get into Wonder Woman 84, which that whole movie hinges on that love working, which is probably why that movie is a dumpster fire. But Wonder Woman it's still good. I don't know if it's like top tier movies of the genre, though.
Well, in comparison to many other superhero movies that were coming out at the time, it worked real well.
I think it was a breath of fresh air for DC fans that got a result that seemed pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, DC's been trying to chase that. I mean, that's why they hired James Gunn. Ever since then, it's been hard to meet that Wonder Woman status.
We'll find out this week, won't we? Superman's being released.
That's true. It is hitting soon here.
I enjoyed the turning it on its head, where he was trying to act chivalrous and be the hero, and every time he would come up short, he executed that assignment really well.
Case, I'm proud of you. You watched a superhero movie. You don't usually do that.
This is one of the few ones I've watched, but I haven't seen it since it came out.
That's a great shout, though, where it's not just her trying to get acclimated into the world. It's the traditional role of like him trying to be chivalrous and manly and failing all of the time in all these different ways, and her telling him he's going to fail because this doesn't make any sense that you're doing that.
Yeah.
But they're almost forced to do it. The thing I will give Gal Gadot credit for is she is outrageously beautiful, and she does carry that well in the film because she is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She has to be a god standing next to Chris Pine. Like, she has to be a goddess standing next to Chris Pine.
For sure.
And I 1000% believe that.
Yeah.
I agree. A Wrinkle in Time, we talked about this a few episodes back with Andre Holland. He plays a small role in this. He plays Alexander Murray, the dad who figures out the science, who then disappears, and they spend an entire movie with Oprah and Reese Witherspoon trying to track him down. I don't think I say this lightly. I like him in the role. I just don't like the movie. Maybe is the best way to put it.
Another Disney film, too.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's a very messy Disney film because Ava DuVernay was given not much to play with, and they meddled with everything, and you could see it because it is messy on the output. I understand why they hired Chris Pine to do that role because I think he can carry the emotional weight of the story well, but the story is just lackluster, unfortunately.
I reviewed it a long time ago. I don't remember too much about it. I know that the book, it's an important young person's book. Obviously, Disney wanted that property.
Needs to be restated here. This movie is terrible. It's not Ava's fault. Go watch other Ava DuVernay movies.
Bingo. Outlaw King played Robert the Bruce. This movie was on Netflix, right? This was a Netflix film?
Yeah.
I remember seeing it years ago. I remember liking it. I didn't rewatch it, though.
I watched this movie when it came out. Florence Pugh's in it. That's why I watched it. It's great. I haven't seen it since then. I don't remember much about it.
Like, I feel like I'm confusing it with the Robert Pattinson, Timothée Chalamet movie where Pattinson, like, falls down, like, comically in the mud.
Yeah.
But I know it's not the same movie.
That movie's also really good.
That movie's great. This movie was frustrating. I watched it. It's like, I don't know, it's well acted. It's an interesting story, and it's kind of boring is how I would describe it.
Yeah.
It's another David Mackenzie, same director as Hell or High Water.
Oh, really? Interesting, because I know the story. You know, I fucking absolutely loved Braveheart when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I know who Robert the Bruce is, and I'm like an hour in. I'm like, am I enjoying this? I don't think I'm enjoying this. it's I don't know. It's one of those movies that I feel like there's a really good movie inside of it somewhere.
I don't know if this is an insult or a compliment, but James, I agree. It felt like a sequel to Braveheart. It picked up where Braveheart ended.
Yeah, I mean, the story is like immediately following that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I thought Chris Pine was good in it, and I liked the action. There's just something missing for me.
I hate his hair in this movie. Maybe I just hate hair at the time. His hair is awful.
His unkept mullet.
Yeah, it's real bad. And maybe that's what it is. We all hate mullets. So we were like, this movie's total trash.
Whoa. What's wrong with mullets?
Well, first of all, it's a party in the back.
The one thing that I found very fascinating in this is how much he worked on his accent. he was very proud of the work that he put in for his Scottish accent. I saw him on the Graham Norton show, which, by the way, that show's awesome. They, as a talk show, that particular episode, talked a lot about his accent and his nude scene.
He hadn't really done like a premier accent up to this point, had he, in his career?
Or a nude scene.
He butchered the Southern accent. Come on.
No, that's true.
Chip, it was Z for what?
Zebediah?
He dated Annabelle Wallace from 2018 to 2022. I don't think she was a South African model, but I believe... Is she a model? I don't remember.
She's the main lead from Peaky Blinders. No.
Okay.
She could probably be a model. It's not a step down.
Yeah, I bet he does well with the ladies.
Clearly he does. It's not a step down from a model, Annabelle Wallace.
You know what's actually really surprising, though? Like, for a guy that is as handsome as he is, like, you look at some of the actors we cover, and it's like a checkered dating history. You've seen the Jeter. You don't really have that, at least not publicly. Maybe there were some things going on behind the scenes that people didn't know about, but...
That we know of.
Yep, exactly. Who knows what happens?
He grew up around this environment, though. If there's anyone...
Yeah, that's true.
...who can navigate...
You think he tried to woo her with his Scottish accent?
I hope not.
Maybe she saw Outlaw King and she's like, oh, my outlaw. Like Jamie Presley and Joe Dirt. Who mentioned earlier he played Spider-Man? He voiced Spider-Man. He's voiced one of the Spider-Men, Peter Parker.
He was called Spider-Man in Just My Luck. And here we are.
It's a great movie.
As your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man enthusiast, I can tell you he is the original Spider-Man in this movie, and he dies in an incredibly dramatic fashion for a cartoon. And so he doesn't have a lot of screen time, but he's like the goody two-shoes, what you'd expect Spider-Man to be.
Okay.
And he's the one who speaks with Miles Morales and is like, you have to do this. Like, you have to stop Kingpin. So he's the one who has the incredibly dramatic opening, death scene.
That makes sense, because I always remember Jake Johnson as the pizza-loving Spider-Man that ends up taking him under his wing.
The humbling reality Spider-Man.
And Haley Steinfeld and Mahershala Ali in this. Almost forgot giving them a shout-out, because we've talked about this a few times. And then the big money maker, Wonder Woman 1984, where they put Kristen Wiig in as baddie in that, and it just didn't work out very well.
I will contest that Kristen Wiig is not the worst part of that movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since the first time, so I can't speak to that one.
It's an absolute dumpster fire. I started watching it the other night.
All right, Aubrey, last review of the night. We have largest audience gap, which is 2022's Don't Worry, Darling.
Don't Worry, Darling is directed by Olivia Wilde. Stars Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Olivia Wilde, Kiki Lane, Gemma Chan. And basically the setup is a woman and her husband live in this like 1950s town where he works in a secret facility. She stays at home. She does all of the homemaking that a woman does in the 1950s. And she begins to question kind of what's going on in that town when she sees some odd stuff going on. It's played like a psychological thriller, and Chris Pine is playing the leader of this town. He kind of runs the secret facility that they work in, but he's more culty than he's just a leader. That's early on you find out that he's more culty than just a leader, because they're constantly listening to speeches that he's giving. Everyone's like really infatuated with him and trying to see him, and he plays it really well. We come to find out that she's actually being trapped and she's in some VR world that Harry Styles has put her in, that Chris Pine has created. I think this movie is brilliant. It's a love it or hate it type thing, but I think this movie is brilliant, and it's only aged better over the few years that it's gone on, with the rise of right-wing commentators talking about how great the 1950s were, and we should go back to that. I think Florence Pugh is, one of the 3 or 5 best working actors alive. She's so good that she makes Harry Styles seem passable in this movie. Olivia Wilde directs the shit out of it.
You think she directed with a cigarette in her hand the whole time, too?
Probably. She asks a lot of really interesting questions. She unveils the movie at a good pace. The best compliment I could give it is I wish this movie was 30 minutes longer so I can see what happens after. I just think it's brilliant, the way that the movie deals with its themes, the way that it deals with men struggling in a world where women are empowered in what they do and how harmful and hateful that can be. I think it's a beautiful movie. I think it's a powerful movie. I love Don't Worry, Darling. Critics, I remember, poked at the sci-fi of it all. I'm not sure it all makes sense. Technically, I don't really care. I think its thematic stuff plays over that. I think Florence Pugh is such a good actor that she covers up a lot of the mistakes that can be there. I don't see a ton of them. I think the movie works.
I just remember how much fanfare was around the promo of this movie. And I remember I was jacked up for this movie. And I imagine critics bought into that as well. And my guess is critics just didn't love the flip at the end of like the VR storyline.
I love Olivia Wilde. I want to see more of her films. And the other thing that we haven't mentioned yet is the music was incredible.
Yeah.
They have an incredible soundtrack.
Chris Pine is an excellent cult leader.
He's so good.
Crushes it.
What he understands about this type of role is where I think a lot of actors fall short. Is to be a cult leader type character, you have to, yes, be charismatic. Everyone seems to know that. A lot of actors that do this type of thing get that part right. You have to be charismatic. But you also have to be terrifying. And he does that.
Yeah, he does.
When he has that conversation with Florence Pugh in her kitchen, he's terrifying. The control he has, the command he has of everything up until the end is terrifying.
Agree.
How would you guys compare him to the other Chris cult leader in Chris Hemsworth from the Hotel movie?
From Bad Times at El Royale?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not as sexy as Chris Hemsworth is in Bad Times at El Royale, because that man is just...
He's bringing it.
I think he's more psychological manipulative than Chris Hemsworth's character in Bad Times.
Okay.
I give Chris Pine the one up on this one.
Okay.
All right, last couple rolls here before we round this thing out. I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons person, and these guys can attest to it. I tell everybody about this movie. I think they see Dungeons and Dragons and they think, that's stupid. I don't play that game. I'm telling you, go watch Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Chris Pine is fantastic in his role. Michelle Rodriguez is a badass. It takes this weird world and grounds you in it immediately and introduces you to a character named Jonathan, which is objectively hilarious. And that poor Birdman. But I've seen this 3 times now, and I only love it every time I watch it. That's my perspective. I don't know about you guys. Who else watched Dungeons and Dragons?
I did. I felt this was a fun movie.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I watched it solely on your recommendation, and I loved it.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Aubrey, you're going to tear apart my dreams here.
I watched this movie, and I watched it only because you told me to watch it.
And?
I will quibble with your setup in one way.
Okay.
I didn't watch this movie because I don't care about Dungeons and Dragons. Not that. I didn't watch this movie because I don't care about Dungeons and Dragons. And this movie, independently from that, looks stupid. And a lot of movies like this are just bad. They're just bad action-adventure movies.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
This one's not. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's a 91, 92. It's 90 plus for both critics and audiences. Everyone that watched this loved this movie.
It's a lot of fun. Chris Pine is really funny.
And just remember, we went through a very dry spell with movies for a long time. And this one was fun.
It's funny. Chris Pine is great. He doesn't just control the movie as the lead. He controls the tone and the pacing of the humor. He does a really good job with that. Justice Smith, I think, is kind of sneakily the MVP of this movie. He's hilarious, and I love Justice Smith as an actor. I think he can do a lot of really good things just in general.
Yeah.
It is like people going to get stuff for stuff. Like, that's really what the movie is. Like,
Yeah.
we've got to do this thing, so we got to go to this place. And because we have to go to this place, now we've got to go to this place, and we've got to get this thing. It's basically that, but it's really fun the entire time. This movie is surprisingly good.
I love this. I hear high ratings across the board by my recommendation, and it brings me a lot of joy.
I watched it because of you. It was funny. I totally agree. Usually not kind of my storyline. You could tell from like kind of the opening scene where, you know, they're doing the prison sentencing negotiation and they're just keep harping on when this guy Jonathan is going to be there, and he shows up and they fucking tackle him immediately. It's very funny.
I was in on this movie on that scene.
Yeah.
Because he kept harping on the Jonathan thing. And then as soon as Jonathan gets there, you realize why, because he's a giant bird.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, this movie's so stupid.
Yeah, it was fun.
As he's flying away, they're like, we were going to pardon you anyway. And it's just like, yeah, I'm in on this, man. I'm in on this movie.
Yeah. It's like, by the way, if we could just wait until he gets here.
The director is John Francis Daley. He directed Game Night. He directed some other stuff. I just can't not think of his role in the movie Waiting as the kid.
Get the fuck out of here.
Who's getting trained the entire movie and isn't allowed to say a word until the end when he goats everybody. That's him.
You're right. That is him.
Waiting. Classic movie. Based on the Bennigan's in Bradenton, Florida, my hometown.
Really?
I've been to that Bennigan's.
That makes sense.
I try not to say that out loud.
Wish. He plays King Magnifico alongside Alan Tudyk. We talked about this one. Alan Tudyk plays a goat who ends up having the deepest voice possible because I reviewed this for that episode. And I remember for the first half of the movie being like, am I just going to review Alan Tudyk just bleating as a goat? And then he gets a really deep voice, a deep, sexy, Chip Hessenflow-esque voice, in fact. He is a true Disney villain in this movie, and Chris Pine is that villain.
He's a great villain in this movie.
I went opening night. I'm over at the Alamo Draft House here in Raleigh, and I was like, this is awful. It was like every trope in the world was being thrown at you, and it was all flat. And the girls were eating it up, the little girls who were around me and the parents. I just was not feeling this film. That could be, to its defense, because my children are older. And I went through all those movies beforehand with my little girls. And I just remember I'm looking around. It was all families with their little girls. I wasn't feeling it. You can tell me I'm wrong.
I think this movie is highly underrated. I think this is a classic case of what modern movie commentary has done to movies. Just people wrote this movie off before it even came out. I think it has all the things a movie like this should have to be good. And I think it's just really underrated. And it's a shame.
Chris Pine's excellent as King Magnifico.
He is so good. And he's singing again.
He's terrifying. I mean, I didn't love the movie as much as Aubrey did, but I do appreciate it's a Disney's fans Easter egg hunt.
That's exactly what it was.
Like, it is an homage to all these years of Disney projects. So it's cool from that standpoint just to watch it be like, pick that out. Reference. And it does tell a unique story to it. It can be cliche.
All of these movies are cliche to an extent.
100%.
And so, like, which ones we pick to shoot at for that is like, when do we shoot at movies for being cliche and when do we not shoot at movies for being cliche?
Yeah, completely fair.
It takes a general idea that is universal and we can all believe in, that we had as children, importance of wishing and believing in the idea of wanting to do something great. It takes that and it brings it together with more than just the childhood version of that. It expands it to what's possible if you actually do just believe in your dreams. It takes a simplistic idea of a villain who's motivated by something that's understandable and makes sense, but compromises the whole thing. There's good music. It's relatively funny. There's a good villain at the center of it, and it looks great. What else do we want?
And to its defense, most children who are going to see this film don't have 50 years or 75 years of Disney films to reference.
No.
It's new to them.
They're singing in isolation. They don't know the Fox and the Hound reference that they just saw in the background. They don't know any of that. So go watch Wish and go watch it for Chris Pine. He's awesome.
That's a fact.
All right, last one. Poolman makes his directorial debut. He's a scroungy guy who doesn't shower much, who's unraveling a mystery.
Cleaning his pool. Director,
producer, screenwriter, and actor. All four. I didn't like this movie very much.
You're not alone. A lot of people didn't like it.
Did anyone like it?
I'd say the majority of people didn't like it based on the reviews I've been reading.
It's just such a niche LA story that no one cares about. To Aubrey's point about him playing like unique characters, he got to play like a basically like a stoner with long hair who's just like chasing a conspiracy theory the whole time. And I think he was like, I want to fund that. I want to direct that. I want to play that. That sounds fun.
He's not drinking White Russians. He's not going to try to get his rug back. Come on.
No. From his Wonder Woman money, his Dungeons and Dragons money, his Wish money, he's like, I want to go do something I think is fun. Will he get another directorial job after this? That I don't know.
A lot of therapy going on in this. And it's all his friends. I mean,
Yeah.
Once again, you have these actors who are around. They're part of this film. The setup that is being played on him, that he goes into the setup, he doesn't really take it and just constantly says, "Oh, well, he played this incredible part." The city councilman. There was some humor that was part of it. It was meant to be the odd man. It was meant to reflect California as many, think of California. I didn't hate this film at all. I thought it was just fine. If I would have reviewed it for too much scrolling, I would have said 50 out of 100. It's okay.
My question is, was the movie poorly directed, poorly written, or poorly acted?
No, it was just story.
John Ortiz is fine. Like, Danny DeVito's fine. Annette Bening's fine. Like, Tobolowsky, sex icon, is in this.
My hunch was he wanted to get a complete directing credit with the hopes of being able to do something bigger down the road. And I bet you 10 years from now, like, people will talk about Poolman being his first directorial. I have a feeling he's going to be a prolific director in Hollywood.
I hope he gets another chance, because this wasn't a great out of the gate opportunity for him. It's like trying to be Big Lebowski.
Yeah, but he probably paid for it himself.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. It came in under whatever budget that he had for it. You're writing kind of what you know. You grew up in California.
It's an LA noir that's trying to be like the Big Lebowski.
I thought you were going for like the things that Pine did and be like, listen, we think he's a great actor and he's a great writer, but man, does he suck at directing. Like, you see all three on display and it's like clearly one stands out as not in the wheelhouse.
All right, Case, we're at the mountaintop, my friend. What do you got for top performances? I think you alluded to some of the credentials earlier of fandom.
I'm just trying to get some diversity here in the websites we pull from. And tonight we're getting an article from awardsradar.com. The author was Joey Magidson, who's also the editor of said website. And as I indicated before, the only thing he watches more than movies is Mets and Jets. So take that for what it is. And the lead-in for this list is Chris Pine could easily have his career on autopilot. That's not his vibe, clearly, and it makes him a really interesting actor to follow. And this article was August 2024, right as Poolman was coming out. It's a year old, everything before Poolman. And we talked in pretty good depth about every movie but one of these. And it is ranked 1 through 10, and it is all movies. CSI Miami is not on here.
ER didn't make it, huh? Yeah, shucks. Low-hanging fruit?
Yeah, of course. I always start there.
Oh, well, Hell or High Water, then.
Hell or High Water is number 1.
Nice. Any of the Star Trek movies?
That comes in at number 2. It does include all the Star Treks. We're down with number 1 and number 2.
Unstoppable, since you guys said it's damn good.
Unstoppable is not on the list.
Terrible list.
Is Wonder Woman on the list?
Wonder Woman is number 4.
How about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is number 9.
Into the Woods.
There you go.
Into the Woods is number 6.
Jack Ryan?
Jack Ryan is not on the list.
Horrible Bosses 2. Give me Rex.
Horrible Bosses 2 is not on there, nor did it make the honorable mention.
Bollocks.
Don't Worry, Darling. Did that come on?
Don't Worry, Darling made the honorable mention list.
Princess Diaries 2. It's got to be on there.
Princess Diaries 2 is not on the list.
This is impressive. We've named 3 or 4 that I thought would be worthy that aren't there. It's a good sign.
Did we mention Dungeons and Dragons?
We did not mention Dungeons and Dragons yet, and that becomes in at number 3. I'm shocked Kyle didn't get that one earlier.
Wow.
Figured I'd offer it to one of you guys. Let you do it.
Would they do Wish because the big budget Disney film?
Wish is not on the list.
So Z for Zachariah. Z for Zebediah.
Z for Zebediah is number 8.
Good Lord.
I get it.
He wrote that in here. He admired his southern accents more than anything.
Was it Finest Hours make the list, Case?
Finest Hours is an honorable mention.
Oh, close.
But yes, it is on the list.
I don't think it would be A Wrinkle in Time, would it?
A Wrinkle in Time is not on the list.
No, I didn't think that would be it.
Outlaw King.
Outlaw King is number 7.
All right.
Smokin' Aces.
Number 5 is Smoking Aces. Good call, Kyle. So number 10, and the last honorable mention we did not mention, number 10 is Carriers.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I saw it on the list at one point.
The honorable mention we also didn't bring up is People Like Us.
Seems like a respectable top 10. Remind us of the top 3.
Number 3, Dungeons and Dragons. Number 2, Star Trek. And number 1, Hell or High Water.
So you got a sci-fi picture, a fantasy film, and a grounded drama. Okay.
Yeah. That's range.
Pretty good. Good. Thanks, Case. All right, let's get into the Munson Meter. What we do, we rate every actor on a scale of 0 to 100, could be based on a variety of factors that could include longevity, project choice, pop culture impact, their acting range, awards footprint, any other talents they might have, their personal life, comedic chops, box office success, and anything else that matters to us as Munsons. This time we're going to start with Case.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to go first, Kyle. I really like Chris Pine, and I enjoyed this whole process because I didn't know a lot about his early work because I'm not a big fan of rom-coms, and I always just kind of chalked him up as a rom-com actor. The thing that I found that I enjoyed the most about him coming out of this was family background in Hollywood and entertainment, but I don't feel like he relies on it. In fact, I think what James said earlier is kind of spot on, where he actually deflects it and moves on. And I know I talked a lot about the show Chips that his dad was on. And if you haven't watched a Chip episode ever or recently, put yourself on a YouTube rabbit hole and watch some clips from that, because that show was wildly entertaining. It was a pop culture phenom in the late 70s, early 80s. And the fact that his dad was a main character on there leads me to believe that Chris Pine was exposed to a lot of Hollywood and entertainment early that helped, I think, shape his career moving forward. And from that, I really have seen a clear growth and performance arc throughout his career. Like I said, from my movie, I really liked that he steered away from the rom-com typecast. And then from there, he went on to play some really big characters. Not many characters get bigger than James T. Kirk. That's an iconic role. I mean, even William Shatner liked his performance in there, and that goes a long ways. I have him and Chris Hemsworth tied as my favorite Chris. I'm excited to see where he goes. I think he's going to be a great director. That being said, and relating him to Chris Hemsworth, I think it's only poetic justice that I give them the same score of 83.
Chris Pine is just like charisma incarnate. Like, the dude just commands your attention on screen. It's a hard thing to do. We even talked about it with Andre Holland, like his ability to just like capture you in a dramatic scene. Chris Pine can do that in a slightly different way, but he can do that as well. I think it says something when a director like Quentin Tarantino says he's his favorite actor of this generation. There's a lot to pick from. We've covered a lot of them. The fact that he says Pine of all people, that's a pretty ringing endorsement when it comes to somebody who's just like a nerd about this world. He loses some points for being in This Means War with Tom Hardy, and Poolman was pretty bad. I did not enjoy it, and I hope it doesn't hurt his directing career. I hope Case is right. I hope he does go into that. But he's like a super talented guy. I mean, given his roles in Into the Woods, Wish, Barbra Streisand's Encore album, he can sing. He's talented. He hasn't won the awards I'm looking for that would like push him up the scale, but likely he'll win some awards down the road. I don't know if he's going to be like a multi-Oscar winner type, but I could see him winning more Golden Globes, Emmys, stuff like that. I'll say I'm a certified Pine nut. I'm a Chris Pine fan. I was a Chris Pine fan before this. This only reinforced it for me. How he lines up in the ranking of Chris's, that's a good question. To Case's point earlier, if you want to stretch the bounds of our Chris rankings, we've got some options. We've got Chris Rock, Chris Hemsworth, Christina Applegate. I'm going to call her Chris. Chris Pratt. Christine Baranski. That's Chris. Chris Tucker. Chris O'Dowd, which we know is way at the bottom. And then even Christoph Waltz.
Ooh.
So looking at that list of all the Chris's, I think the only two that I could probably rate higher than him are Baranski and Waltz. Most likely, I think those two are upper echelon of the Chris's. So I feel pretty good about giving him a solid 74. I feel good about that.
Look at you.
All right, Chip, what do you got for us?
I'm usually much harsher than everyone else.
Annie McDowell knows. She is well aware.
Well, I don't mean to ruin her at all. I was going to say 75 because I do think he's incredibly versatile. If you were going to, you needed his type of character, he would pull through. You're not taking chances with him. You're getting a known commodity, and Do we have superstars like, what we had when we were younger? I don't know. But, I mean, he certainly fills the role.
I love it. James.
I found this interesting because I at least perceive him as this like old-fashioned kind of movie star, right? He's got the looks, he's got the charm, but then in watching his movies, it feels like he actively goes out of his way not to fill that role.
Yeah.
And it also kind of feels like Hollywood doesn't really know exactly what to do with him because of that. He generally plays like decent guys. He's got kind of like a boyish charm to him. And that's a little unique for the like classically handsome male movie star. Like it's not the ultra masculine thing. And I respect that because it's clear in the movies he chooses, he wants to get away from that. Like he's actively not trying to be that. And so he doesn't always need to be the nice guy. I think I would kind of like to see him be like with Captain Kirk. He was kind of like an arrogant hothead, and obviously he ends up being the hero. But I think he's good in those kind of roles, and I think I'd like to see more of the bad guy side of him. Based on his kind of career trajectory, he'll make those choices, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to give him a 72.
Round us out.
I think he's a good actor. He's definitely a movie star.
Yeah.
Which is two different things. And his charisma carries him through a lot of different things. I like that he plays against that as often as he can. And when he does, he often plays against it really well. Best performance that I probably saw was Hell or High Water. It's probably the best opportunity to see him really get into his acting bag.
Yeah.
Finding good acting isn't just who can deliver emotional scenes. Charisma plays a part in that. Being able to command the screen and command character to make you feel emotion is all a part of that, and he does that really well. I think him being able to sing and him being able to kind of seamlessly fit into these musicals in different ways without being a fan of musicals is really interesting. He's funny. He can do action. He plays drama well. He's a good all-around actor. I'd like to see him do more things like Hell or High Water. I'd like to see him really get in his bag a little bit more because I think it's there. But based off what I've seen, I'm going with an 80.
With that gives Chris Pine a 76.8, which ties him for 46th place with Dennis Quaid. It puts him right behind Elliot Page, Owen Wilson, and just ahead of Rami Malek and Richard Gere.
Honestly, I think Dennis Quaid is an interesting comparison because Dennis Quaid has that like classic movie star look. But what made him a good actor in my eyes anyway is that he wasn't like this infallible alpha male. It was like he was like the working class kind of hero in the movies he was in. And I see a lot of that with Chris Pine where it's like, oh, you expect him to be this like hunk movie star. That's not really what he gives you.
And if it's worth anything, Case gave both of them 83s. So I think Case would agree with this scoring.
Where does he rank with the Chris's?
He is just behind Chris Rock. Chris Rock's at a 77.4. So he's about 5 spots behind Chris Rock. And just ahead of Chris Hemsworth, he's in 58th place. So 46 to 58. Between Rock and Hemsworth. Seems fair. All right, Aubrey, what has he got coming? It looks like he's got a few popping up.
He's got a few things. What's the deal with Birds? It's the most odd, but it's a short, so we won't spend too much time talking about that. He's got something called Nowhere Fast, which is directed by Noah Hawley. So I thought that was interesting. It's a crime thriller that's pretty standard, but Noah Hawley directing it makes it more interesting. Run the Night is an action movie directed by Robert Alonzo. A banker with a $10 million bounty races through Amsterdam, hunted by gangs after allegedly betraying the mob. Sounds similar to the Noah Hawley movie. He must survive until dawn to save his family, revealing unexpected skills from his past. That could have an interesting little twist to it. And he's got The Kidnapping of Arabella, which is different. An Italian woman named Holly is convinced she's the wrong version of herself until meeting a 7-year-old girl who changes her perspective. This movie is a drama. I think it might be in another language. It might be in Italian. So it's a whole different thing that he might be getting into that I'm really interested in. But the most interesting is Alpha Gang.
God, look at this cast.
It's a sci-fi comedy directed by the people who brought you Sasquatch Sunset, which is a movie that most notably had dozens and dozens of people walking out of the theater because it is utter nonsense, even though I haven't seen it yet. Alien gang leader Alpha One and her crew disguise themselves as 1950s bikers to invade Earth. Their conquest plan derails when they experience human emotions complicating their mission. Kate Blanchett, Leah Seydoux, Channing Tatum, Chris Pine, Dave Bautista, Zoe Kravitz, Stephen Yeun, and Riley Keough.
Wow.
Nice.
I'm in.
Once again, great cast.
Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if this is too much star power for the story. Like, I just don't know.
You're right, because it's not just good actors. It's a ton of charisma. Yeah, he's got some interesting stuff coming.
Yeah, he does.
Unsurprisingly.
Nothing directing, though, I notice. So, TBD. All right. Next up, podcast going to hit on August 7th. We've got Laura Beneke coming back. She was here with us for Gary Cole, Bonnie Hunt, J-Lo, Jim Belushi, Mila Kunis, and Michelle Williams. We've got 5 actors we threw on the wheel. Tim Robbins, Patty Considine, Carrie Elwes, Lynn Shay, and Michael Madsen. Rest in peace. He passed away 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Who do we like or dislike from that list?
No disrespect to Chip, but this is the greatest guest of all the guests.
Listen, when you work in Hollywood, you have all sorts of inside information that how else are we going to get it?
The best guest.
My guess is going to be based on who I think she might have worked with. It's narrowing down to Tim Robbins, Carrie Elwes, or Michael Madsen. I think she did a project with Michael Madsen at some point, and I think that's who we're covering.
You would have picked Madsen before his untimely death, obviously. So that would be a really interesting way to commemorate his career. I don't know how well he would score, but
I don't think it would be great.
You'd watch some Tarantino films. You'd watch Species again.
Yeah. I don't even know who some of these people are.
I want Carrie Elwes.
I just went and watched the Princess Bride where he had the commentary where he comes on stage and gives the commentary. I saw that about 3 or 4 months ago. He's a very charming guy.
He's at Robin Hood Men in Tights, Princess Bride, Saw.
Liar, Liar.
Liar, Liar, he's great. He plays the baddie in Jungle Book. He plays a great baddie in that movie.
Is he the guy in Twister?
Yep, he's in Twister. Yep.
I'm in.
Yep. Carrie Elwes is awesome. He's in Stranger Things.
Wasn't he in Mission Impossible?
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Two Mission Impossible movies. It's just all I needed to hear.
Yep. I don't know a ton about Patty Considine. I know him because he has a very unique voice. Obviously, he's an Irish actor, but I don't know a ton about him. Lynn Shay, we would get Kingpin, boys. We would get Kingpin.
House of the Dragon.
Oh, it's House of... He's great in House of the Dragon.
He is. He's extraordinary in House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
If Lynn Shay doesn't get picked, I think she's going to end up on one of the horror wheels one of these days because of her Insidious film franchise.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
But you'll watch Kingpin, though.
You will watch Insidious? It'll fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's literally what I heard from a horror movie critic that Insidious is the scariest movie of the 2000s. It is genuinely fucked up.
It's got one of the best jump scares I've ever seen in a movie. It really makes you shit your pants when you're watching it.
Yeah,
I'm not watching that. So you guys could tell me how it goes.
If we get Tim Robbins, we get my favorite movie of all time. And that's The Shawshank Redemption.
I pissed off a lot of my friends because I was trying to convince a group of men to watch Face Off and they hadn't seen it before.
What?
And didn't you guys like Shawshank Redemption? Oh, it's incredible. It's the greatest movie of all time. I was like, this has a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes than that movie.
That's cold-blooded.
Man, they're like, get the fuck out of here. And then the moment the movie starts, they're like, oh, I get it. It's yeah, there you go.
So, talking through this list, who do we think Laura picked?
I think you're onto something with Carrie. How do you say it? Elwes?
Elwes? I'm not entirely sure.
Give me Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins. Chip, who would you pick if you had back-to-back?
Very well, Elwes.
Elwes. He's in Glory, too. That's the other movie I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah, he's an asshole in that.
Tim Robbins would be a lot of fun, too. Bull Durham.
Yeah, Nuke LaLoosh. Yep.
Yeah, he's Nuke. Come on.
That Hudsucker Proxy.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
It's great in Mystic River.
Mm-hmm. So, Laura doesn't decide. Chip doesn't decide. I don't decide, contrary to popular belief. The wheel decides, and we'll see what happens. Chip, We're glad to have you back, my friend. It's not a Munson's episode without that sweet, deep voice, my friend. This is your red carpet moment, right? You get a chance to tell the world what you're working on. Plugs, wise words. The floor is yours.
I may be doing a professional podcast, or at least something recording coming this next year. America's 250th birthday is coming up. There should be a lot of interesting stuff coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'm doing just professional stuff at this point. My hobby of podcasting has at least ended for at this moment. But my goodness, what a pleasure it is to come and be part of something special like this. First of all, thank you for bringing me on.
Oh, man, thank you.
Of course.
We got to catch each other in Chicago one of these days, Chip.
Absolutely.
You and Mike Vandevort and all our Munson's people, look like everybody's here. So we'll find each other.
Excellent.
As always, you can find us on Instagram and Threads, Munsons at the Movies. You can email us, munsonsatthemovies@gmail.com. Any final thoughts from Chris Pine?
I'm sorry, it's just hard to relive this without Jonathan here. Again with this? But he missed the most important part of my backstory. How can he judge me without knowing my motivation?
Munsons Out.
All right, let's go. Thank you for the education, gentlemen. We've just received a PhD in stupidity. Doctor, shall we?
Spock, sabotage the system.
We have line 193 again with sabotage, pronounced sabotage.
I don't say sabotage. You say sabotage. I say sabotage.